from Arizona.
I think it's
and I am wondering,
quite interesting.
I know you've met with dozens of lobbyists. I did not touch you. I'm meeting with dozens. I know you're meeting with dozens of lobbyists.
The world doesn't.
Okay, so that was Senator Kyrsten Sinema walking with Republican Senator Tim Scott, one of her constituents. Tried to talk to her, and Sinema was not having it. Actually says at one point, "Don't touch me." I don't know that the woman had touched her. Don't think it's the worst thing in the world if she accidentally brushed against her. But she wasn't answering any questions. She wasn't even looking at the woman. She could not even pretend that a constituent had any right whatsoever to understand what Sinema is doing at this most critical time in the Biden administration. And Sinema, look, let's give her credit for this at least. She's been consistent. She doesn't care what her constituents think. She doesn't care about their questions. She was just really enraptured with what Republican Tim Scott was saying there, Nina. And she couldn't bother to just say like, I'm having a conversation. I would love to talk to you another time. Not even anything like that. Just don't touch me. Get your dirty hands off me. I'm talking with another wealthy person who shares my concern over the wealthy.
There it is. I mean, she is being who she is. The question, Arizona, looking at you, Arizona, the great state of Arizona, are you gonna reward this woman's bad behavior and disdain for her constituents? Because we've seen her multiple times. This one is not a one-off either. We're not exaggerating here. This is how she feels about the people who live in her state. Arizona, you can do a new thing, which is to make sure that this woman is not reelected to that office and that she is held accountable for every day she is in that seat, not able to sit there comfortably. Now, brushing up against somebody is one thing by accident. I don't believe anybody should put their hands on anybody. I want to be clear. Brushing up against somebody by accident, as you just said, is not the worst thing in the world. This woman right here, she was just deflecting in that moment. She just doesn't care. I mean, she just does not care. Because what? Heretofore, there's been no consequences. She gets coddled and dined and wined by the White House and her colleagues in the Senate, right? The donors go out of their way by putting out commercials in her home state, lauding her and lifting her. So if you were Senator Sinema, John, under those circumstances, would you feel any urge to change your behavior?
No. I'd be worried about someone brushing up against me. But we should be worried about who she's rubbing elbows with at these little parties. I'm glad to see she's back in the United States. I think that's great. Apparently she ended her European vacation to raise money in Paris and I don't know, Monaco. I honestly don't know because even though she's a United States Senator, she doesn't feel like we need to know what country she's even going to raise money. But she is back. She's hanging out with Republicans, which I think just makes perfect sense. And people are getting really frustrated. I want to show you a little bit more video. Like this woman really does try, and she's being like she's just asking questions. She's not yelling at her. She's not following her into the bathroom. This is what we were told we were supposed to do. Let's see how far it gets her.
Either no monsoon or it's the longest season. People are suffering. Your constituents are suffering. What are you going to do about climate change? Next week in Glasgow could be the last chance. Please answer me, Senator. My family, my house, we're from Tucson, we're constituents.
Thanks for your work, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Oh, I love that Tim Scott did that at the end. So neither of them were gonna talk to her for a second. She's asking about climate change, nonsense like climate change. But as they're going up the thing, someone says, like your work. Oh, he turned his head and he said, thanks for that. If it's just a compliment, no criticism, no questions, they'll take that from a constituent or even a rando. But if you're asking her to make good on years and years of promises that she's made, that she accepts the science on climate change, that she'll do something about it. She was literally in the Green Party. No, you don't even merit a response from one of your constituents. It's so disrespectful. And I hope that people in Arizona are seeing these videos and they'll do something come primary time.
Let us hope, John. I mean, they don't even acknowledge the existence of constituents. I mean, really, how much effort does it take, even if you don't like it? I mean, I've certainly served in elected office, and everybody that approached me didn't approach me properly. I mean, that lady actually, as you said, laid out. I mean, she did everything just perfect. Her tenor, in terms of how one comports themselves, she did absolutely the right thing. She didn't yell. She didn't get in her space. She was asking her questions. You should acknowledge somebody's existence, especially if you work for the public. I mean, they acting like they work for private sector, but you know what, John?
Yep.
Actually, they do work for the private sector, if you think about it. Because the private sector is running the US Senate. Make no doubt about it. The owner donors are in full control, so much so now these senators don't even turn around and acknowledge the very public that they are supposed to be in service to. But you know what, John? They do. They acknowledge who they really do serve.
Yeah.
And that's their owner donors.
Yeah, and just everybody needs to understand that going into this. Okay, super fast. I just want to let you know that you know how like the Biden had been pushing for 12 weeks of paid leave, and thanks to people like Sinema and especially Manchin, it had been cut down to 4. Manchin's against including the 4. We're not gonna go super in depth. Maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow. Like he literally wants to keep it at 0. Isn't that awesome? He's a millionaire, owns a coal company. You don't get any leave. Do you think he takes leave when he wants it? Do you think that he gets time off? I think he gets time off actually, but he's against it.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.